All right, hey, Coach Edwards here with lacrossegoalietips.com and lacrossegoalieuniversity.com. Got a great question on our YouTube channel this week from Jackson as I lose my screen. It said, listen, hey, I've been watching your videos since I started playing and you've helped me so much, but I'm in 8th grade and I'm going to be in high school in the next couple months. And the varsity coach has been watching me play since I was 12. He really wants me to play varsity freshman year, but I don't have the confidence of playing with seniors, and I'm trying out for 9 and 10 grade prep team. How can I improve my confidence? Okay, well, Jackson, listen, this is a great question and something that's kind of near and dear to my heart because this is basically what I went through. When I was in 8th grade, I transferred high school to Thayer Academy in Braintree, Massachusetts, and they didn't have lacrosse programs. My first year, the high school had a JV team that played against other teams that played like kind of the sub-varsity, so grade 11 and down. And so I was in 8th grade, so that was a big jump. That was 4 years playing up against kids who were 4 years old. And for me in that school, I was actually in the middle school playing with kids in the high school. So I totally understand what it's like to be playing with kids who are a lot older than you. So I want to cover a couple things. If you may or may not be in this situation, if you're watching this video, you may or may not be in this situation specifically, but you're going to learn a lot from what I have to say here about confidence and how to keep it and how to build it. And so I'm going to talk about a couple things, and you can apply them to your game. Take what you want, leave what you don't, and hopefully this helps. So Jackson, listen, I really appreciate the question. And so first and foremost, I want to talk about confidence from the lacrosse kind of savings type of situation, like just you on the field playing the sport of lacrosse against a shooter. It doesn't matter who that shooter is. It doesn't matter if that ball gets shot out of a cannon. Really, the person who's on the other side of that stick doesn't really matter. So the first part of this video, we're gonna focus on just that. So when it comes to saving a ball and having confidence in saving a ball, basically there's three abilities that you need to have. One is a physical ability, like your ability to stand there and move and make a save. You also have a technical ability, which is like understanding technique and how to move to the ball. And if you've been playing for a while, it sounds like you've probably got a lot of that handled. You also have a tactical ability, like, after you make the save, like where are you going to make that outlet pass? And understanding like what does the offense do? What happens on a fast break? How are you going to handle fast break? How are you going to tell the D to move? So those three key abilities are kind of where we start, and we wrap that all in your belief in those abilities. So if your belief in your abilities is kind of weak, basically the first thing we look at is like, well, in your three key abilities, your physical, technical, and tactical, what are you concerned about, right? Like what parts of those, and you can rate yourself in each of those abilities and decide, well, maybe you're small, maybe you're short, but I can guarantee you that if you weren't a good goalie, the varsity coach probably wouldn't be looking at you to play, right? So you've got to have some confidence that, hey, the coach sees some good things in you, and that should make you feel good, all right? So we layer these three key abilities also with the 3 keys to making any save. And so I'll link to that below this video. It's a video on my blog, so if you just go to my blog at lacrossegoalietips.com and search for 3 keys, you'll see it. But the 3 keys to making any save is you've got to see the ball, you got to know where it's going, and you got to move to it. Now, the thing that really kind of holds young goalies back, right, is that the move to the ball part, moving in front of the ball part, is their weakest point because physically you're a lot younger than those kids who are 9, 10, 11, grade 12 ahead of you, so 3 or 4 years ahead of you. And that's totally understandable. That can be scary at times, or it can just be like, hey, I know I'm not going to make those saves because I'm going to be able to see them, I'm going to know where they're going, but I'm just going to get kind of overwhelmed by all this and the faster shots and things like that. So one of the best ways to solve that, and you may have heard me talk about this before, is one, protection. So pad up, get some baseball shin guards on, get some football thigh pads on, get some shoulder pads on with some shoulder caps, get get some sweatpants on. No one's going to know the difference. Get out there, especially between now and the fall. Get with some older players and just get shot on. Get with some adults and have them shoot on you, because I can guarantee you that with just a little bit of practice, you're going to see that you can make some of those saves, if not a lot more than you think. What happens is that right now, the term we use is you're in your head. When, as an athlete, when all of our thought is just basically in our head and we're not on the field, we get nervous. We get, fearful. We just don't know what's going to happen. And what tends to happen is we disasterize, right, the situation. So what that means when we disasterize a situation is we think the worst possible thing, right? You're going to get hit with a ball, or they're all going to go in, or you're going to get hit in the nuts, like whatever. You think of the worst case scenario, and that worst case scenario rarely happens. So the best way to minimize disasterization is to get out and play with older kids, okay? So pad yourself up, get in front of those shots at first, and see how you do. And then as you go, you can shed the equipment, you can maybe shed like the shoulder pads, and when I started playing in 7th grade, I started playing in 5th grade, the school I was at had a rule that I had to wear shoulder pads, elbow pads, hockey pants, and shin guards. So I was bulletproof, right? But what it did was it allowed me to focus on the ball. And because it was a rule that all the goalies had to do that, there was no question, right? And so there was no peer pressure. The other players on the team, the middies and the attackmen, they didn't care because it was just the way goalies did their thing. And I understand that you might be running into a situation where you don't want to do that because you don't think you're going to look cool, all right? So that brings me to the other part of this scenario where the coach wants you to play varsity, all right? So a lot of programs, if they're weak at goalie and they have a promising young goalie, like in this case, Jackson, what happens is the coach goes, I'll take that kid and we'll make it work with him, right? But they don't take into consideration all of the protection mechanisms of a young goalie. And what I mean by that is not just protecting a goalie by padding them up, but protecting that young goalie and creating an environment where they can succeed. And I'm going to shoot another video on just that specific topic. So later you can Google creating an environment of success for lacrosse goalies and you'll find it. But in this situation, you need to go to the coach, sit down with the coach, and maybe your parents come too, depends on the relationship, I get it. But you go to the coach and you say, listen, I really appreciate that you want me to play. I'm just a little concerned about a couple things. And a good coach is going to be wowed by the fact that you're doing that, right? The fact that you go to them, you sit down with them, grab them at lunch or grab them after school and say, hey coach, listen, I really appreciate that you want to do that with me. You want me to play, but I'm a little nervous about a couple things. And you lay it out for the coach. Now, if the coach is really good, he's already going to know these things. He's going to know that a young goalie is going to be nervous around all these seniors, right? He's going to be nervous that he's going to get hit. He's going to be nervous that he doesn't play very well and that the other kids, the older kids they're going to, basically heckle him and hassle him and sometimes bully the young goalie. And I hate those stories because that's a sign that the coach has totally lost control. But between the coach and the captains on a team with a young goalie, the team should really rally around the young goalie and realize that, guys, we got to do our part as defense and middies and attackmen not to give up shots that our goalie can't save. And so this is a point where you as a young goalie can really help a high school team because it forces them to go, you know what guys, if we're good enough, the goalie, we don't even need a goalie, right? But we got Jackson in there and we got to do our part for him. And so it can be a real rallying point for a young goalie. So don't dismiss that's something that can happen too. Now, in terms of speed of shot, right? Get out of your head, get playing, like I mentioned before, right? So take those shooters, first and foremost, and move them back. Give them distance so you have time to know where the shot's going, and then can move in front of it safely. I remember in high school, I went to the Syracuse lacrosse camp. Gary and Paul Gate were playing at the time. For those of you watching this, it'll totally date me, I get it. But Gary Gate shot on me full shots from outside the restraining line. So we're talking like 25, 30 yards away. But he could crank it, but because I had so much time to see the ball, move in front of it properly, my eyes were getting used to this ball coming, and my hands were getting used to the speed with which that ball would hit my stick once I got in front of it. And then as the summer progressed, as I kept playing, those players could move further and further up, closer to me. And so then I was stopping shots at 20 yards and 18 and 15, to the point where guys, high school age seniors who had time and room shots, I stopped everything from outside, and that was awesome. But that only comes with progression. So as a young goalie, actually as any goalie with a new team making that jump up, you need that time where there's progression, right? And your coach needs to understand that so that you feel safe in the cage so you can focus on stopping the ball. Okay? Things like outlet passes, you can totally do that. You should totally be able to do that now, but a little bit of strength over the summer, all right, that'll really help you. All right, another tip, get in the gym over the summer between now and then. Really embrace the idea that you're gonna get stronger physically. Join a CrossFit gym, get around a bunch of power lifters. If you've got an Olympic weightlifting club in your neighborhood, somewhere near you, go. Start working on flexibility and getting stronger, because as you get stronger physically, right, that ball has less of an effect on you. And so that's really important. All right, so I hope this helps, right? There's a lot to think about here, but really when you're trying to build confidence, you got to get out of your head and you've got to be playing and working towards a goal. But first you have to identify what about this is not making you feel the greatest. Like, what aren't you confident about? Is it getting bullied by older kids? Is it about getting pressure, getting hurt? Is it about not knowing the plays? Like those are all things easy to fix. But get with the coach who has already given you a thumbs up by saying, "Hey, listen, I want you to play varsity next year." That's a huge pat on the back. But obviously, you're doing something right, or that coach wouldn't be saying that. All right. I don't care if you're the only goalie in the school. For a coach to say, "Hey, listen, we want you to play varsity," right? He's not trying to make a midi a goalie. He's looking at you. That's a good sign. All right. So get with him and go, "Listen, what do I need to work on to make this the best possible situation? Here's what I think as a lacrosse goalie. Here's what I think I'm weak on, and here's what I'm nervous about. Coach, what can you do to help me? What should I do to work on this?" All right. And when you have a good dialogue with your coach, right, and he knows you're working and you know he's helping you, then that's the best recipe for success. So I wish you all the best. Listen, if you got a question for me, email me, coachedwards@lacrossegoalietips.com. Stay tuned. I got a little clip after this coming through about my new book, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Hey there, guys. Thanks for watching. Listen, let me just talk to you for real quick. I want to tell you about my new book, An Athlete's Guide to Winning in Sports and Life. I spent a long time on this book. This is 25 years of coaching knowledge basically packed into a book. And so whether you're a lacrosse goalie watching this, or a parent or a coach, or you know of an athlete who's got big dreams, and you know parents and coaches who are supporting that athlete, then this is the book. I wrote this book for those types of people, for athletes who are motivated, who really want to make something happen, whether they're trying to make the JV or the varsity at their high school, or they've got dreams to play college or professionally or go on to the Olympics. I've had a lot of experience dealing with athletes from a variety of sports who've gone on to big success. We're talking Division 1, 2, 3, MCLA, Division 1, Division 2, the Olympics. Some have gone on to play professionally. I've distilled everything I know from what I've learned from some of the best coaches on the planet into this book. And so when we launched this book on Amazon, it was great. Real quickly, we spiked up to #1 in the sports psychology section, as well as the coaching section. And I want you to grab a copy. And so what I'm going to do, if you're watching this video and you're a lacrosse goalie, I want you to head on over to my website, lacrossegoalietips.com, and we're going to basically do an offer this year for, if you join Lacrosse Goalie University, you're going to get the book for free. And so basically what you can do, join Lacrosse Goalie University, stay there for a month. You're actually gonna get the book for less than what we sell it for online. But I know that once you get the book, you're gonna love it and you're gonna want to be part of it. And you're gonna be inside Lacrosse Goalie University where you're gonna have access to me and hours worth of coaching footage for lacrosse goalies, parents, coaches specifically. All right, so special deal just for my Lacrosse Goalie audience and the people who subscribe to my newsletter and who are seeing this video on YouTube. So subscribe to Lacrosse Goalie University. The link will be below. And you can get a copy of the book for free. The book retails for 25 bucks. So you're getting a sweet deal on that. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you better. So grab a copy today, click the link below, and I'll see you on the other side. Cheers.